Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, Ricky Starks makes himself a star. The acclaimed go over FTR. We have predictions for Final Battle and NXT Deadline, and Ricochet and Santos Escobar. They wow. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I am your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Chestnuts Roasting on a McIntyre. And sitting directly across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Dude, I've had a shitty fucking day. All I've done since I walked in the door is laugh for the first 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Okay, that's some good shit. Right? Oh, goddamn. Chestnuts on a McIntyre. That's good shit. And on that level, I'll ask the congregation to bow their heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 285, chapter 3, verse 14 of the Good Smart saith, hashtag boo the heels, it's all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the Holy Trinity of BFR. Just while I'm thinking about it, just a word to the wise, just call it a pro tip, if you will. If you're going to jump on the Sasha bandwagon about her going to New Japan, it's not New Japan. It's called Stardom.
Oh, wow. Jason came in here. He's not straw man, and somebody pissed him off if he's saying that because I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But out there in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon, we have Two Beers, Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer?
BFR West in the house.
BFR West indeed. And speaking of Sasha Banks, you also can call me the boss. I just got a promotion. I got some direct reports. I've been very busy. I have not watched as much wrestling as I would like to. So usually I'm very up to date. I've been watching WWE and as much other stuff. But fear not, even though this week my awareness may be a little lackluster, I am now doing a lot more work from home. So, oh my God, we're going to watch so much more wrestling coming up. So it's good.
Congratulations to Two Beers, Zach Pullman. That's great news. We love it when our friends do well, don't we?
God damn, man. I need to get a job where I can just sit at home and, work, quote unquote.
We're sitting here in misty St. Charles, Missouri. Jason, myself, and our good friend of the show, Bo Giesman, a.k.a. Vice. He's got cans on, but he does not have a mic because we don't trust him anymore. Just can't hand anybody a live mic, It's like giving Mike Tyson one in the 90s, You never know what he's going to say.
Oh, that was the best part about Mike Tyson fight. It wasn't even the fight itself. Like, shh, he getting ready to talk. It's going to be good. Shut up.
But we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, and Zach was only on for a little bit last week, so I'm sure.
Oh, man, I really should have stayed on with you guys because I left that happy hour to give my old boss whose job I took a send-off, and then we went to a bar afterwards, and I was like, this will be good, some extra, downtime with the team, and then I got so drunk that one of my colleagues had to drive me home 8 blocks because I couldn't even walk it. So, yeah.
I mean,
anyway, I should have stayed on.
Pullman, I know.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's Mickey'd you, dude? What the fuck?
Without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
He's saying himself.
JCB, kick it off. Dealer's choice.
I'll just save the boring stuff, quote unquote, for last. We'll just talk about what we usually talk about, especially now that WWE has made a resurgence under the Triple H regime. We'll talk about all things WWE. Couple notes. You kind of stole my thunder on Ricochet. Ricochet and Santos Escobar had the SmackDown World Cup final on Friday night. Obviously, Ricochet won. We all kind of agreed that Braun Strowman was going to be the winner. Ricochet is a surprise winner, obviously, and I won't say a well-deserved winner, but someone that feels like if they did it and this elevated somebody. Ricochet could be somebody that could be elevated, even though it's to the Intercontinental Championship. It's not necessarily a true elevation, but it puts him back into the spotlight where, in my case, I think he richly deserves that. He and Santos Escobar had a banger match to close down SmackDown. Not a surprise because this is Lucha Underground. For those who did watch Lucha Underground, they have done this dance before, and I kind of was like, okay, if this is going to be the final, should be a really good final. Something to maybe look forward to if, surprisingly, Braun Strowman doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship from Gunther at some point. If Ricochet wins, I would love to see Ricochet and Santos Escobar run that back with some stakes involved. Go ahead. I know you want to bloviate on it.
No, go ahead, Zach. You're up.
Dude, yeah, totally with the Lucha Underground stuff. I was able to snag that when it was on Netflix, and super fun, super weird. But yeah, I've seen these guys wrestle, and of course, like, just put it together in your brain. Like, Ricochet, Santos Escobar, these dudes are super talented, and I like this push that Ricochet is getting. And Walter is such a goddamn fantastic wrestler, and he's really putting the work in. He's lost a bunch of weight. Just really kind of moved to America. He's really doing kind of all the things WWE would want him to do, and I wouldn't mind Ricochet dethroning him, getting a legitimate push, letting Ricochet be Ricochet, at least in the ring. And I don't know, like, for me, Walter is the kind of guy that's like main event. Walter's the kind of guy that takes a title off a guy who's had it for almost 3 years. So that's a legitimate kind of contender. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. But, he needs challengers. He's run through a lot of people. Have him lose to Ricochet, make it little guy, get a fluky win over a big guy, whatever you got to do to protect him. And, yeah, have Vulture challenge for the big ones.
All right, I'm going to hit you guys with some thoughts, and then I'm going to hit you with the question. The first one being, if you're not familiar with Santos Escobar's in-ring style, yes, he was in Lucha Libre. Yes, he is Mexican, but he does wrestle pretty methodically for one of those lucha guys. I mean, he is a methodical wrestler that brings his matches to a crescendo at the time that they're supposed to peak. And he was great in this match. This match had me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know who won when I watched it. I thought it was awesome. I thought he looked great in defeat. I thought Ricochet finally got his moment, with the American flag behind him holding up that cup, and with the pyro going off in the background. It's like, man, oh, he looks like a star now. He looks like what we thought he was going to be. He was in NXT for, it seems like 30 seconds before they put him in that 6-man match for the North American title where he kind of stole the show. And this was a good use of both those guys. Ricochet Gunther has something that has a lot of potential.
Zach for that one.
Has a lot of potential because obviously Gunther works spectacularly with guys that are smaller than him, and this is a match to really look forward to. The question that I'm going to ask you guys, and this might be big time recency bias, but has Gunther, they say the title doesn't make the man makes the title. Has Gunther made the Intercontinental title matter again? Jason.
It's a resounding yeah. I mean, it feels like now, who's going to take down Gunther. It was always who's going to take down Roman. It still is. Usos, same way. Gunther's now in that conversation. Bianca Belair. It's something to be said about long reigns where you can start to dominate your division or whatever the case may be. A lot of WWE kind of harkens back to professional sports, whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever the case may be. I think this is just one of those things where the Intercontinental and the U.S. title, for that matter, the mid-card titles have been a joke for so long. We're seeing now a legitimate run for somebody that looks like they can hold the title for a little bit. In this scenario, I have to say that Gunther has made the Intercontinental Championship feel important.
Two Beer, what do you think?
I think so. I think that, kind of going back in my head, there was a time, during COVID, it was like, Sami Zayn was fun with it, but it wasn't necessarily like an important title, so to speak. Same thing with like Nakamura. I think maybe the last time it actually meant something was when I think maybe Big E had it before he had like the WWE title, but I don't know, before that.
Rhodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like before that, I really can't remember like a time since we've been doing the podcast. I feel like we've lamented the title not being, that important, because in our minds, whenever like we were younger and we're watching it, the Intercontinental title was the coolest title. It's like the ones that like your favorite wrestlers had, the guys that you wanted to see week in and week out, and so
And
I'm down. I
Man.
think, and Honky Tonk Man. Yeah.
All bullshit aside, I was a Honky Tonk Man fan. I did like the Honky Tonk Man.
I don't know why I just took a shot at Honky Tonk.
Look, who isn't on the list at this point? I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, lots of people have had it. We'll keep it moving on main roster stuff, Jason.
I'm gonna bounce back and forth because I was looking at my notes, and there's other things that are more important than whatever happened on SmackDown and Raw. Blah blah blah. Just jumping to Raw for a little bit. We've now got two women to face off to figure out who's going to wrestle Bianca Belair here in a little bit in 2 3-way matches. First match, you had Bayley, Asuka, and Rhea in the first match. I thought this was the better of the two matches. Bayley wins this first match. And in the main event on Raw, you had Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, and Nikki Cross in that match. Alexa surprisingly wins, but Damage Control comes out and jumps Bayley, so it feels like maybe we're going to get Bayley and Becky on one side, Alexa and Bianca Belair on the other. Thoughts?
Oh, well, let me just say first and foremost that I recently cut the cord on cable, and so I watched Raw and SmackDown on Hulu this week. And I got to say that Zach Bowman was right the entire time. Watching Raw on Hulu is way preferable, man. It just cuts out all the bullshit. After I watched it, I read through everything that happened on the show. And if you only watched the Hulu version, you had no idea that the poker bullshit with JBL was even happening. And thank God that I didn't waste any of my time trying to watch any of that. Apparently 4 segments that culminated in a 2-minute match between Dominic Mysterio and Akira Tozawa. But I digress. The only thing that kind of sucks about having Alexa Bliss win is that it kind of takes the piss out of the eventual Alexa Bliss Bayley match. It looks like we're going to get Bayley versus Bianca Belair again. And if that's the case, then Bayley should win. And if Bayley doesn't win, then she's got to go away for another year.
I don't think we get that. I think we get Alexa versus Bianca Belair. And if we don't get the heel turn that a lot of people are looking for, where now Bray Wyatt is now bringing Alexa in, I still think Bianca wins, and then at a later point, Alexa falls into or cross paths with Bray at some point. Bray is coming for Alexa. It's just when and where.
Zach, what do you think?
First of all, congrats to Bianca Belair. She won a bodybuilding competition. Like she placed in like multiple spots.
She won it.
Yeah,
oh, Jesus.
She won like number 1 and then like number 2 and like some other aspect of it. So super impressive considering all the other shit that
Lex
she
Luger
does.
always pretended he was.
Stop.
A black woman.
Yeah, I'm sure Lex was running around wanting to be a black woman in the 80s.
Yes.
No, it's like Lex Luger, not Alexa.
Yeah, like we said.
Okay, all right.
Joke still stands.
All right.
He showed up on that first Nitro like Jackie Robinson. Anyway, so What was I going to say? I think we're going to get, in my head, I feel like the way they're kind of building things, I think we're going to get Rhea Bianca at WrestleMania. They're building Rhea up to be like a big superstar while keeping her out of the title picture. And I think she's going to get her kind of crowning achievement there. And Bianca's had it for a long time. So that's what I'm thinking with them. And I feel like Alexa's just going to be slotted in with Bray again. I don't know how she feels about that. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really care. It's not like I'm, Alexa's like good at what she does. She's not like a super great wrestler, but she's a good character, and like her superpower is being like super hot. But she does a fine job in the ring. I do think that Bayley is maybe like, I think it's fine for her to just be around and be annoying. I don't think she needs a title. The other gals have titles, Io and Dakota. But, if you want to put one on her to be like this annoying heel faction that has a bunch of championships, like I think that could be good. Bayley's fantastic. But, overall, I read the recap of like the Raw, and it did not sound appealing to me. Like 2 women's 3-ways, the JBL thing. I'm just kind of glad I skipped this show.
Let me correct Jason for a second, or correct Zach for a second. Dusty Rhodes was Jackie Robinson. Lex Luger was Josh Gibson. The other thing I was going to say was, I watched Bayley on Raw this week, the last couple weeks actually, and Bayley might actually be underrated as a heel. Like, maybe it's because I kind of skipped past a lot of stuff on main roster, and I skipped past a lot of stuff during the Vince era, and because she's so good, it got so bad for a while. But Bayley is a really effective. She seems like a natural heel, actually. Like, she seems really comfortable with it. Jason.
I don't remember who was given the props about Becky Lynch. Actually, was given in the opening segment of Raw on Monday night. She was giving Bayley props about how her and Sasha carried the WWE Women's Division through the Thunderdome, and they really did. If you want to really go back and look through that, it was Bayley and Sasha in some form or fashion. They were the tag team champions at some point, and either or held the women's championship at one time or another. They carried that division through the pandemic. And a lot of people don't want to remember that. And I know you don't like to even talk about it because it was just a bad time, no fans and all that other good shit.
Really sucked.
No, look, as we get further and further away from it, I would start to agree with you. It's a bad moment in time, but they did what they had to do.
None of the performers' fault.
No. It was just.
But the real heroics, yes, Bayley and Becky Lynch carried the women's division through the pandemic. Drew McIntyre carried the men's top of the card through the pandemic.
Agreed.
But really, like, the real hero of the whole thing is banned from Ringside for podcasting through the entire pandemic. We didn't miss a fucking week.
You are crazy, boy. I was gonna say I wasn't gonna pat us on the back for that shit. We just we did what we wanted.
No hazard pay. No hazard pay.
Yeah, nothing.
I say
nothing.
Don't fucking piggyback on with that shit.
We're here for you guys.
Right.
The listener.
Usos obviously retained over Riddle, and the scheduled opponent was Elias, but the Usos and one Solo Sikoa jumped Elias backstage before the show. Obviously, if you watched Raw, you saw that. Just a couple things from this match. Number one, obviously, the Usos retaining, continuing on. They'll be marching into SmackDown to face one Sheamus, and now Butch. Apparently, Drew McIntyre caught injury apparently between last week and this week, so he's going to miss the title match on SmackDown. You'll have Butch and Sheamus versus the Usos. First thought about that. Second thought I wanted to just throw out there is the KO thought, and we talked about it last week with the smack that was not really registered to Roman. I wouldn't say registered, but just it wasn't planned to Roman Reigns. Obviously, there was words backstage. We talked about that last week. This week, it feels like if we're going to still do Roman versus KO at the Royal Rumble, it's still on track because even though they lost on Raw, KO cleared the ring with the chair, so there's still a KO presence moving forward to next week. My gut says Roman versus KO. I'm hoping that's the case because I think they
at
just
Rumble?
I think that would be the main event. There's no reason for me to think otherwise, especially now with the end of that the title match to open up Raw. But moving forward more and more, I think sooner or later we're just going to get the announcement that that's the match for the Royal Rumble on the men's side.
I think we actually get no title match at the Rumble because it's the Rumble, but the Elimination Chamber is in Montreal, and I feel like KO and Roman in Montreal is the place. Unless you fast forward the same
something's
thing.
going to happen in Montreal. I think it's going to have more to do. I mean, even if it's KO Roman in Montreal, that might be where Sammy splits off from the bloodline. That might be where, you know what? The truth is that they don't even know yet. Yes, Jason.
If I can make a suggestion to the class, if there's a time to break up the two titles, the Elimination Chamber feels like a good time to do it.
Yes, there are. It's honestly, there are so many different roads they can go.
For sure.
How's this for a segue? Speaking of Bray, because we weren't. I don't want to pat all three of us on the back, but
you can pat me on the back. I need a little self-affirmation tonight.
Doesn't it seem like all three of us were, we're all Bray Wyatt fans. And by the way, Bray Wyatt's real name is Wyndham Rotunda, and we'd like to throw some T's and P's out to Barry Windham, who apparently had a heart attack the other day. So hopefully he's doing good. But
Mike Rotunda has a GoFundMe if you want to throw a couple bucks out there. And you can also become a member of Cauliflower Alley Club, and the proceeds of that, your dues for Cauliflower Alley go towards like folks like Wyndham or Barry Windham who have given their bodies to our entertainment. So, it's a good little way to give back.
Yeah, and I'll also say this before I finish my thought on Bray. I understand that I can only hear Zach in my right can, in your left can, in your right can. So you can only hear it in one can. I understand that that's a problem, and if that fucks you up while you're taking your dog for a walk or you're driving or you're working and you're listening to us, that's my bad. I don't know how to fix it just because I'm not an audio engineer. It's something that happens every once in a while. I'll take the blame.
I'll take the blame for being late today.
Well, it's not, they don't
Since
fucking
we're
care.
up to date.
It's podcast, man. They can listen to it whenever the fuck they want to.
I know. I just wanted to say that out there.
It affects me.
I know. It affects. Okay.
It affects Bo.
Okay.
It affects Zach.
I know. That's why I wanted to say it right now. God damn. Shit. Foul on J Bell, motherfucker.
Weren't we kind of right about Bray Wyatt, though? Or have they just kind of, did they realize that it was too much too soon? Like, what is going on? Like, he is just basically laying low. He's not a big part, and maybe this is smart. Like, I'm kind of glad that he's not, but they're taking it slow with him. They're not hitting us over the head with 3 segments a show with him where he's just cutting these backstage promos. And he's still pretty much focused on LA Knight. And I got to say, I'm a fan of it. And us three were right. Zach, do you want to pat me on the back?
Sure thing. I'd actually prefer to pat your ass while I suck your dick about this. Metaphorically. Man, no. But
that boy's good.
Good and terrible.
We knew it would be good until, and then I don't know. It's just also kind of weird. It's like, I mean, I like the guy, but you're gonna have his first feud, the LA Knight, and they were both good. Like whenever they had the thing with LA Knight, and he confronted him, and then he slapped him in the face, and he slapped him again. That was like a good segment, but is this what we're doing?
Kind of seems like they pumped the brakes on the whole thing.
Yeah.
I still think it actually ends up happening as a match, but I think it's a slow roll.
It'll happen as a match, no doubt. But they brought Bray Wyatt out at the end of that pay-per-view. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. I'm sorry. But they brought him out at the end of the pay-per-view. That's when Bray Wyatt reintroduced himself to the WWE
the mystique.
Universe. Yeah.
Everything about Bray Wyatt was so much more hot and interesting before he even showed his face. And now he's just somebody that's on TV, and it doesn't seem like it matters at all.
I actually read a pretty interesting theory about how Uncle Howdy's voice sounds like Randy Orton's. Like if you slow it down to a certain spot where it could be Randy Orton. So here's hoping that we get another House of Horrors match or whatever it was called.
Damn. I mean, I wish I had this much time in my hands.
I like maggots projected
on my canvas.
Yeah, on the canvas. That's what I'm into. Those are my favorite types of matches. Maggot matches.
Okay. See.
You don't like maggot matches?
No. As a matter of fact, no, I don't. And I'm probably sure if you wanted to go back in the archives and look at one of the first 1 or 2 Beef Awards, because that was one of our first 1 or 2 years together, that was probably a worst match of the year candidate. I guarantee it.
Boogeyman would like a word.
Stepping him off is you're fucking fired. Outside of that, I don't really think there's much else to talk about. Cross is going after Rey Mysterio.
We don't have to belabor the point. We can, I mean.
JBL.
Yeah.
OC beats Alpha. Okay, there you go. That was the second match that came out with the JBL.
Wasn't on Hulu. I'm sure it was fine. It was OC versus Alpha Academy and
Barry Corbin.
Oh yeah, too bad I missed that one. But it was a fucking burner.
I'll say he retired.
5-star classic.
They should talk about that a little more. That was the one thing.
Yeah, they never bring it up
ever. They should talk about that.
Hey,
more.
You know who's Hall of Fame? You know whose career they're celebrating this week on SmackDown? Kurt Angle. Oh yeah, intelligence, integrity, and intensity. The 3 eyes.
He beat Rock. I lost my goddamn mind. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude?
Nah, he fucking rules.
Yeah, he's
all right, let's keep it moving. Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. We can go into AEW. We start out Wednesday with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal, and I don't want to talk about Rampage because I don't think anybody watched it, because why would you? There wasn't shit going on it. You watched that QT Marshall main event?
You're welcome, by the way.
QT Marshall's he's got to have some juice on somebody, right? Like he's got to.
I mean,
he's got to have pictures.
I love the guy,
Tony Khan on Epstein's Island or something. Like he's got to have something.
Stop. Jesus Christ! No,
it's not even a joke.
QT Marshall is a good worker. Period.
He's great.
He's
actually
in the ring. He's a good worker.
Okay.
I'm not even talking about the gimmick of QT Marshall. I'm just talking about the guy that we see in the ring. That guy, he is a talent. The gimmick, you can talk about that all you want to. Run it down. I don't give a rat's ass. But in the ring,
nobody cares. Is the thing.
In the ring, I think he is a valued piece for AEW.
Yeah, and even more valuable because he's a teacher. Yeah, so I'm just saying.
And especially
I'm not going to talk about Rampage.
Especially when you lost William Regal, you need guys like that to be around.
Yeah, I mean, QT's literally a vice president at AEW.
Did I just Did I make a joke that I missed, literally?
I mean, you're like, William Regal left, but you guys got, next man up, QT Marshall.
QT Marshall was there before William Regal.
Yeah, I know, but William Regal's like, he's a fucking 45-year veteran. He was in those matches, Sunshine, and he was getting his ass kicked, Sunshine.
I understand that. I'm just saying that on that same aspect, when you have somebody that has the literal factory behind them, and it's the Nightmare Factory or whatever you want to call it. It's a school, and they talk about it on, AEW programming, then yeah, you got to give QT Marshall a little credit. That's all I'm saying.
If QT Marshall is in the Fight Forever video game, I will main him. I will play him every match.
That's right.
I'm a fan, but nobody gives a shit.
I mean, what the fuck is William Regal? I mean, he's just getting replaced. Next man up, bring in QT Marshall. Now
hey, he wanted to jump. If you want to dip, you dip.
They should have QT Marshall be MJF's manager now.
No. Please, no.
Right. You just work with the factory over here. And yeah.
All right, go ahead, Zach.
All right. So we had the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royale, and long story short, it was fine for a TV Battle Royal. I'm not going to belabor anything. We can keep it going, but it was pretty fun. I enjoyed the match. Last two were Ricky Starks and Ethan Page, and Ricky Starks ends up being the winner. And before they can even give him his flowers, MJF's music hits and he comes down, cuts a promo on him, calls him Pebble, which is just like a smaller version of The Rock. Pretty good. But then Ricky Starks snatches the microphone and cuts the promo of his life. And oh, by golly, did he do a phenomenal job building this up, because he had already won the tournament to get a title shot, and now he won this Battle Royal to get a shot at the Dynamite ring. But I guess they're tying them together now, and they're just going to be one match together on Dynamite next week. But that's a little confusing to me. I need to look into it. But if it was me, I would not have necessarily tied those things together. I think it would have been better if Ricky Starks beat MJF for the ring, because Ricky Starks is like so hot right now, and MJF can definitely absorb a loss from Ricky Starks, but then maybe they wrestle again and he doesn't beat him for the title, right? But if it's for the same thing and MJF keeps everything and he just beats him, then it's a little less. But the real story here is Ricky Starks is very over. Also, this is his hometown. He talked about being homeless and living in his car in said town, and this just went over so well. I'm not going to, run through everything, but there were a ton of insider terms, but kind of in a good way. Not in the way that Eddie Kingston wouldn't like. It was in a way that Eddie Kingston actually does in his promos, where he brings up inside shit. Like he brought up
bullshit.
He brought up the unprofessional bullshit that MJF did, like no showing autograph sessions and brown nosing and all these things. And I think even if you didn't know all the history with that and with MJF and everything else, I think that this still would have come across very, very well for a casual television viewer. I think they would have been into this. And I'm very excited for this match, and I do not expect Ricky to win, but I'm looking forward to it.
There's very few guys that can stand up to the flame, since I'm looking at it, of MJF, especially on the mic. It takes a guy that can do that shit. And I knew that Ricky Starks could talk. But when he just literally bumped MJF and then snatched the mic, I was like, oh, shit. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. And he said everything that MJF has already been accused of, but he just said it in a more of a babyface, passionate way, to where now, if you weren't on board with Ricky Starks, you probably could be on board right now. If you hate MJF and you didn't know who Ricky Starks was, you can kind of like Ricky Starks a little more. It was really good. MJF does what he does. He ran down NWA. That was the one thing I was just like, damn, man. And, Billy Corgan ain't even around. You just run his ass down. That's just fucked up. So MJF does what he does. But Ricky Starks, picked up on that. He did the "Where were you?" run down everything else, but then he brought up with like cheap heat, all this other nonsense. Where now you really feel like Ricky Starks is a true underdog in this match. He's going to lose. We are going to know that. But I think the seeds are planted to where now a long-term babyface run is available here for you, to where now Ricky Starks can lose here, but he can win down the line a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever the case may be. Building this fan base for Ricky Starks as a babyface is good for him for the long term. We've seen him do the heel. We've already got that in that back pocket. We can come back to that. For now, he needs to be a babyface, and this promo, not saying this promo of the year, but man, woo, there's very few people that can stand in the heat of MJF, and Ricky Starks walked through that fucking crucible with no problem. It was beautiful to watch. If he just slowed it down a little bit, that's my only problem with it, because I speak fast too, and he kind of stumbled a little bit. I get you, Ricky. I get you. Just dial it down a tick. He hit it out of the park. It's a home run regardless.
All right. I'm not throwing up my hand to tell you shut up or anything. I'm just saying he's a star. He's a star. He's a star. He's a big, bright, shining star. And I've been saying that about Ricky Starks for a while. Ricky Starks is he's very talented in the ring, and it just seemed like he, much like Dirk Diggler's big-ass 13-inch dick, it just seemed like he was ready to bust out of those jeans at any time. And boy, did he bust out of those jeans the other night, because that was a promo that put him on the map, and that will be a promo that is remembered as putting him on the map, because now,
depending on who you are, some people there are some people that watched him in NWA on YouTube.
Okay, but way more people watch him on TBS than watch him on.
Agreed.
Okay,
That's
so
what I'm saying.
I watched NWA Power. It was good, but it wasn't that. Like, his promos in NWA Power were good, but that was transcendent.
He put himself on the map.
No, you could see those seeds in NWA Power. He put himself on the map.
All right, I never watched him in NWA Power, and I knew that he was a star. And I called it a long time ago. I'm not saying that I called it before anybody else or anything. I'm just saying.
We're not patting themselves on the back.
He looked awesome. He looked awesome the other night. I watched the promo twice now, because my wife was in my fucking ear during the first time, and she was like, "Go fake out the laundry," and I'm like, "Okay, just let me finish the fucking Ricky Starks promo." Like, he's fucking up here owning MJF.
This man is getting ready to be a star. You're fucking it up, woman.
MJF is the perfect foil for him in this instance. Zach said that it was full of insider terms. I'm kind of like
cheap heat.
I'm kind of well, cheap heat, yeah. Okay, that's an.
I should say insider information, rather.
Yeah. It didn't get my bristles up. I wasn't like, oh man, this is too insidery, or this is too backstage, or this is too shoot. It didn't seem like a work shoot. It just seemed like an actual work where he was like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to make fun of the crowd. You're going to make fun of the city. And then he made fun of his outfit.
Piper.
He made fun of his outfit, which is MJF calling him Pebble or whatever and calling him a Rudy Poo candy ass. That shit is so weak to me.
No. I think that's open season.
Hold on.
Sorry.
That shit is so weak to me, because it's 2022 and everybody is jocking somebody else's shit. They're just doing it on their own terms. Or like, wrestling has been around long enough.
Did you say jocking somebody else's shit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why? Everybody's jocking somebody else's shit. Everybody's trying to fucking... Everybody's imitating somebody that came before them. Hey, Giggle Twins. Hey, eyes on the prize, okay? Fucking Giggle Twins over here. Everybody is copying somebody that they've always respected or always liked. That's the way it goes. Calling
that's what
him
wrestling is.
That's what everything is. That's what acting is. That's what comedy is. That's what wrestling is. That's what music is. The Rolling Stones
In this case, we're talking about wrestling, but
yeah, but the Rolling Stones were ripping off Chuck Berry. Listen, motherfucker, I gave you fucking time to talk.
I'm sorry. I'll cut the mic.
God damn, please. Anyway, that's all I had to say. You just fucking took all the piss out of it, man. I had a lot to say about that. Anyway, Zach, go ahead.
You fucked up when you brought him over here. You know that, right? I want to say that. You fucked up.
No, it's not Bo's fault.
It's your fault.
Go ahead, Zach.
We had John Moxley cut a promo on Adam Page backstage. Would have liked to seen Adam Page on this show, but that is what it is. And this is what is happening. So not much to say. Moxley's great. Got a great promo. Nothing really to say. Like, no big surprises here. Then we had TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Darby Allin. And, if you're into, like, snuff films or like that ball busting porn where like the chick just like stomps on your balls, you probably like this match a lot because dude, Samoa Joe killed Darby Allin over and over and over again. And then Darby Allin got up after he beat him and he started fighting him, and then Samoa Joe just killed him again.
You need to sit down. Go ahead, Two-Beer. I'm sorry.
He did a dive to the outside, and Samoa Joe like stepped aside and he just landed and missed the pads, hit the concrete and the guardrail, and then Samoa Joe pulls the shit up and he does a power slam onto the concrete. He's just beating the shit out of him over and over. And I even saw the feed where it was like the no commercial feed. He just kept beating the shit out of him. And after it's all said and done, he does a muscle buster onto the trucks of a skateboard that flipped upside down. And dude, this was an absolute nightmare. It was a good match, but it was just, should be Darby Allin is not long for this world.
I was about to say, this should be the Bill Vagey match of the week. Yeah, without question.
I was going to say, it might be my favorite Darby Allin match.
God bless him.
I mean,
he got...
Listen, we got some... Samoa Joe is Samoa Joe again.
Yes.
And it looked a little hit and miss whether we were ever going to see it again. And Samoa Joe as a fucking monster heel badass, that is the Samoa Joe that you want to see. So, Thank you, Tony Khan, for everything that you do wrong and everything that people give you trouble for.
Everything wrong. I mean,
I'm saying having Samoa Joe back as Samoa Joe is a real treat.
Without question. That was the one thing I said. It was a backstage vignette, and when Samoa Joe came up and he said whatever he said, I was just like, man, that's the dude you really don't want to see. If you owed somebody some money and Samoa Joe came up and was like, you owe my boy some money, shit, you better give him the wallet, take my shoes, what the fuck you want. Just get the fuck away from me.
He's the only guy I've ever said on this podcast, Samoa Joe, don't come find me. But no, I love this match. I thought they beat the shit out of each other. I thought that Darby Allin played his role perfectly as a little guy that will not stop no matter what until Samoa Joe puts you down on the trucks of your fucking skateboard. It was badass. When he flipped it over, I mean, he kind of played with that skateboard for a little bit before he flipped it over and had the trucks facing up, and I was like, oh, yeah, here we go. Muscle buster on the trucks. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. I always make sure to keep an extra McDouble in my back pocket just in case Samoa Joe does come find me. I can just throw it to the side. Just throw it to the side.
Stop. No, he's got new music, man. He's got new music.
You think it should be an Arch Deluxe?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Zach might be a little too young for this, but do you remember? I mean, I know that Jason remembers it, and I know that Bo remembers it.
Man?
But Fernando Valenzuela, who was the pitcher for the Dodgers back in like '86, and he was kind of like a fat. He was like a fat Mexican, and my dad used to always tell me funny stuff about these baseball players he used to watch. Like he always said Steve Balboni on the Royals was Steve Baloney Balboni, and he always used to go, "That's Mom's boyfriend."
Stop.
And, yeah, he always,
Oh my God.
he always said that's Steve Baloney Balboni, Mom's boyfriend.
Oh,
and he always said that Fernando Valenzuela. Now, I don't want you to think less of my dad, Joe Vagey, but he always used to say that Fernando Valenzuela pitched with a taco in his pocket.
Anyway, just in case I got hungry. Hang on, man.
I remember what I was going to say about Ricky Starks.
I got it.
I remember what I was going to say about Ricky Starks. The Pebble stuff is pretty weak, but Ricky Starks making fun of MJF's clothing and what he does when he goes out there. And Ricky Starks also seemed just a little, like, just nervous enough to where it made him like a super baby face. And I know that you guys were talking about, like, my first thought was, man, put the belt on this guy. Like, he would be hot as fuck. Obviously, MJF
right now.
MJF obviously just got it, but really that would do more. That would be detrimental to Ricky Starks. Like, you gotta let him. I wouldn't be surprised if he won the Dynamite Diamond somehow and lost the belt somehow. I get what you're saying.
Okay, that's the biggest point with this whole thing. Okay. This is a battle royal to set up a contender for the champion. Now, all of a sudden, like, as people are coming into the ring...
it's for the ring. It was for the ring.
No.
It was almost just like a reinforcement.
It's always been for the ring.
No, guys.
No, it's for the belt.
Guys, Ricky Starks has...
The Battle Royal was not for the belt.
No, the Battle Royal was not.
No, I get it. It's for the diamond ring. I'm just saying, Ricky Starks probably shouldn't even been in it because he has a title match in 2 weeks. You could have did all of this, got somebody else to win this battle royal. I don't care who you pick. Pick the guy you want. And then you got 3 guys set up for MJF at certain points.
Well, they just would have been better off not bringing up the ring ever again until after MJF.
No, you can bring it up, just don't tie it to the title.
We don't have to fantasy book this shit. What was next?
I feel you, Jason. There's a variety of ways, and this doesn't seem to be the way.
Okay, just pound. All right, keep it moving.
The only reason I'm going to bring up this backstage segment is Kip Sabian says that Orange Cassidy is going to wrestle someone of his choosing. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because the Rampage spoilers are out, just like they are. And that person is Trent Seven, who I really like, and who will probably do nothing of note because there's so much shit going on. But Trent Seven's like a QT Marshall. He has like a wrestling school. I think he's probably there more as like a producer, coach type dude. Super talented, but he did lose to Orange Cassidy in the Rampage tapings. Spoiler alert. Like you were watching Rampage anyway. So
you never know. You never know.
I am gonna watch it tomorrow because we have John Moxley. We have John Moxley facing Takeshita, which, dude, that's gonna be awesome. I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. So I will watch it for sure. Anyway,
quick question.
Yeah.
Are we running this back again? This feels like we've done this before. Or am I wrong?
What?
I was going to say, it feels like Takeshita only fights John Moxley on Rampage.
Takeshita he's wrestled a bunch of dudes, but he has wrestled Moxley before.
Okay.
And Takeshita has only beat one person in AEW ever. I feel like they need to have Takeshita start winning matches because he's a fucking superstar. It was
-1.
It was like somebody. It was somebody like that. Yes. But he's only won one match. It wasn't -1. No.
We can eliminate him off the list.
I'll tell you what, if you're out there and your name's Kip, come find me.
You say, I can whoop your ass without question.
I know one guy named Kip. 2 P's. I won't tell you what the second P's for. Pussy. What was next, Zach?
Let's see what was next. We had the tag team match. Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager versus Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. And this, this was good, but the main thing is that it's setting up because we still have Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society. And we have a pay-per-view this weekend with ROH Final Battle with Claudio and Jericho. And if Claudio loses, he has to be a member of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which is always a weird step because why would you want somebody in your faction that doesn't want to be there? And I don't know. It's like a weird, it's a weird wrestling thing. But this match was fun, and then Claudio got the big win over Jake Hager, which just kind of reinforces to me that he is going to lose to Jericho and then end up being in the Jericho Appreciation Society. But, outside of that, afterwards, they did a thing with Regal. So we have like a time-traveling promo, like, in case of my death, please air this promo. And I don't know. I'm not going to spend any time on like discussing this except to say that it's fucking stupid. And we all know Regal, where he's going. Regal's going back to WWE. He's not going to be on TV. But I just don't understand. Like, they knew this for a long time. I don't know why they built so much story around Regal when he's leaving. Just have him go away. It's fine. Instead, like, they've convoluted this very high-profile story, and I'm just not into it. So that's all I'll say.
I mean, I am shaking my head at you, Zach. Just really shaking my head. Because you're exactly right. I'm like, what are they doing with Regal? It seems like 3 weeks in a row they've sent him away. It's like, okay, what was that promo? Also, it seemed like he was on mushrooms while he was doing it. Like, what was he doing? Like, don't,
because he was time traveling.
I don't like. I listened to a couple podcasts this week. I was on wrestling Twitter to my own detriment, but what nobody seems to say is that, oh yeah, he's real good friends with Triple H. His kid's over there. He probably just wants to go hang out with his kid, and
that's what Tony Khan said. Actually, there was a media call with for the ROH. Before the pay-per-views, they do media calls. Somebody asked Tony. Tony Khan said that Tony Khan's mother had 2 strokes, and then they did a heart surgery because that was where they thought the strokes came from. So he was like there with his family, and he got the call from Mega, who said that William Regal approached him about getting out of his contract and them not picking up the option. And so then he met with him once he got back, and Regal just told him that his son is at NXT. He wants to be there to help his son, and Tony Khan let him out on the condition that he's not on TV. He's like, yeah, that's fine. I don't want to hold you here against your will, but I don't want you on TV. So that's the score.
It's I don't know if it's good business, but it's good ethics. Like, let the guy do whatever he wants to do. No, like and maybe that was a like, hey, will you cut this promo and make it seem like it was 2 weeks ago? I don't know. It's fine.
No,
like,
it's
whatever.
I think that's what it was.
But we spent so much time on fucking William Regal, and I love William Regal. Why is he getting all this airtime about? I guess because they're called the Blackpool Combat Club. Okay.
No, I don't even. That is like the 15th thing we're talking about at this point. Honestly, I think TK is trying to do right by William Regal. You want to go, you can go. Fine. No problem. I think the convoluted problem with this is they're trying to just make it look like he's a good guy on the way out. You can just keep it as storyline purposes. We're not idiots, okay? Everybody's grown. He wants to go back to WWE, and that's okay. For storyline purposes. I'm sorry, kayfabe style.
Storyline purposes.
MJF knocked him out, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
That just gives MJF the heat.
I saw people on Twitter being like, "Why wasn't he wearing a neck brace during that promo?" It's that's because the promo was supposed to be cut like 3 weeks ago.
All right,
it's fine, whatever.
And that just made it more convoluted. I agree with you for the most part, Bill. a lot of this is
that.
On the point where you're good to go. The only thing that I think we disagree with is the fact that William Regal wants to leave, and if he wants to leave, so be it. But you don't have to have this little segment in for William Regal to, explain his way out.
Also,
you guys got this, right?
Also,
I'm gonna go ahead and go with WWE.
If Tony Khan says, my stipulation is you stay off TV, William Regal seems like he's the type of guy that's a man of his word, So that'll be it.
For WWE, a year for William Regal off TV is very easy. There's enough talent out there. William Regal doesn't have to be seen for 2 years if he didn't want to do that.
All right, what's next?
Oh, what was next? Let's see.
A bunch of bullshit.
We had Jamie Hayter. She was fine. I'm not going to get into it too much. We're going to have a match on Rampage between Sheeta and the Bunny. I didn't look at the spoilers to see who won. I'm going to guess Sheeta.
Me and Jason.
Probably Sheeta versus Hayter.
Come on, man. Jason
just keeps giving me looks.
Come on over here. Come on. I will put your face in this fire. I swear to God.
Jason, come find me.
It's a really funny thing to say sitting right across from someone.
Yeah, literally right here.
All right. I don't know. Nothing really to say about that. I have even less to say about the death match or death spot trios match. We got Jade Cargill and the Baddies versus Kiera Hogan, Madison Rayne, and Sky Blue. Nobody gives a shit. We're moving on. I'm not wasting any time with this. Shivani backstage with Saraya. I don't really care about that either. You guys got anything to say about this?
It's going to be an hour, 30-minute podcast. No, I agree with you about Red Velvet is the only thing about the Jade whole match that I won't even talk about. Jade didn't want to tag in. Red Velvet obviously has a problem with it. That's going to happen down the line. Saraya mystery partner. Okay. This mystery partner needs to, if it's not Sasha Banks, and obviously it's probably not Sasha Banks. If it's not Naomi, and it's probably not Naomi, this mystery partner needs to be named fairly quickly. So that way the AEW fan base and whoever else is trying to be like, oh, Sasha Banks is going to AEW. Okay, sit your narrow ass down. We're going to eliminate that immediately. If it's Toni Storm, fine. Then 2 weeks from now, Toni Storm needs to be announced, and then you build up to that match. If it's Thunder Rosa, same concept. If it's somebody that we have not seen on AEW television, you keep that shit in your pocket. If it's somebody that we have, you need to announce that and be done with it. So that way it's not a Rey Mysterio, oh, we're waiting for Daniel Bryan, and the Rey Mysterio comes out, and it's like, oh.
So I think that the bloom is off the rose in terms of AEW being the fun place to go and debut and have it be a big fucking deal.
Agreed.
Like, it's just...
Now you guys start thinking about this shit.
Now you got guys going back to WWE, so it's not the same thing that it was even 6 months ago, much less a year or a year and a half ago. I don't think it's Sasha Banks. I know that she recently, per the dirt sheets, she recently filed for a couple patents for her actual name, which is like Mercedes something, which is actually hotter than Sasha Banks.
I'm not even going to try to sound the last name. It starts with a V.
So it's a hot name.
But look, she's hot, period. Call her Sasha Banks. Call her
Mercedes Varnado.
Okay, there you go.
But I don't think that it's her.
Get it.
I mean, Jesus fuck.
I just had to dab my forehead with a handkerchief.
Yeah, of course, man. Like that goes without saying.
Okay,
just say that she's marketable or something. That's the way pros do it. We're pros.
She can still get it.
Yeah.
He's heating up.
I'm just saying.
Unprofessional bullshit.
I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Well, okay, all right, I'll stop.
I don't have anything else to say. Go ahead.
Go,
Zach.
Two-Beer, go. Just start talking.
We had the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Now, we've been waiting for FTR to get a title shot while holding
I know what you're
all
talking
these
about,
belts
motherfucker.
for a long time.
Yes.
And then it just kind of came out of nowhere with no build.
Thank you.
And they had a good match, but did not come through. Acclaimed won, which it's not the right time to take the belts off the Acclaimed, but I feel like FTR is just, they've got all these belts, but they're not on TV nearly as often. They're kind of like languishing, even though they're holding all of these titles, because we don't see them as often, but the people want to see them more. It's an interesting dynamic, but we are going to see them on Saturday. And if Claudio versus Jericho, 2 or 3 or whatever, was not ringing your bell, 2 for the singles, is not ringing your bell here. Maybe FTR versus the Briscoes 3 and a double dog collar match will, because that's the match that I'm going to be watching for on Saturday, and that's the match that was announced at the end of the show on Wednesday here. So say what you will about the build, say what you will about whatever, but this was a fun match. This was bookended with good matches. There was some good stuff in the middle, some middling fair stuff in the middle, some not so good stuff in the middle, but this is a really excellent episode of AEW Dynamite. Overall, bookended with great matches. Some stuff that happened in the middle. That's kind of pretty typical of our good weekly television that we get. AEW has not been awesome lately with their weekly shows, and I feel like this was a step in the right direction, and I enjoyed it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's years and years of PTSD from watching Raw and SmackDown when it was just terrible and terrible and terrible. But to me, if there was only one show I could watch every single week, it would be AEW Dynamite. And this Dynamite delivered. Even in the places where it dipped a little bit, it still delivered because it seems a little bit fresher. The matches are always better, no matter what. Just because WWE, even when there's a good match, it's still a WWE style match. And you really can't point to a style of match at AEW and say that's an AEW style match. The Acclaimed and FTR, I watched it live, was a super fun match with a fantastic final 5 or 6 minutes that was sloppy as fuck. It was not a it was not a tight match. They were probably guys that aren't used to working with each other that often. They probably talked about some things before.
This is what I want to do.
There were no botches. I'm not saying there were botches, but there was some sloppy stuff. But I thought that the outcome was a no-brainer. I thought it was going to be the Acclaimed, and they had me buying into every single FTR near fall. And I thought that the ending with, I think it was Max Caster rolled up Dash, and
sounds right.
I think that is probably the right move. I was a big fan of this match. I was completely into it, completely sober, loved every fucking second of it. What'd you think, Jason?
Saw the finish last night. Well, I'm sorry. I saw the result last night. I was like, okay, well then fuck it. It's not a big deal. It's, I didn't even know about the dog collar match after the fact. First thing I saw was, unfortunately, the swirl from the main event.
That the Acclaimed went over.
Yeah. No problem with that. The FTR did what I thought, at some point could have happened, and either side could have did it. They got a little heelish at a certain point, but everybody shook it out, hugged it out, whatever, scissored out. So whatever the case may be.
That's the only thing I would have changed. I would have not had FTR do the scissor thing with the Acclaimed in the middle.
I kind of wish they would have just been like, you know what?
Zach, what do you think about that?
You got to give the people what they want.
This ain't best friends, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, do you have to give giving the people what they want is giving them the Acclaimed, period.
I think maybe. How about this?
I think the Acclaimed is the most over act we've seen since like Daniel Bryan in 2010.
Dude, they're the hottest act in AEW right now.
They're the hottest act in wrestling. They're hotter than the Bloodline right now.
Whoa.
They are. In terms of fan reaction, maybe it's because the buildings are smaller. But I'm telling you,
I would disagree with that.
When the Acclaim comes out, it is electric, dude.
Bloodline's first. I would give you Acclaim as second, and then from that point, you can start breaking it down. And it's not
after that, it's Naito. No, I'm sorry.
Right.
But no. What about? I'll give you this. Do the scissoring after the cameras go off. It's already the main event. I'm happy with the scissoring, but I can see your point.
Yeah, I mean, if the scissoring went on after the cameras were off, that'd be one thing, because that's not canon anymore. You know what I mean?
For sure. And I think
if it's on TV, it's canon.
And I think that
after that, who gives a fuck?
Well, it's two baby faces. Everybody's hugging it out. So be it.
But we grew up post the curtain call. Like, this shit's old news to us.
I know, but I still think there's something to be said about the fact that FTR turned it a little heelish.
Did you like the match?
I did like the match. I liked the match a lot. The roll-up, like you said, it protects FTR in that scenario. The only thing I didn't like is where you have, the Gun Club, whatever you want to call them right now, post, Billy Gunn announcing the Ass Boys, announcing the fact that
it was a little weird.
The Briscoes are going to challenge FTR in a double dog collar match, which there have been some before. Okay, then here's my. I guess
is this FTR Briscoes 3 this year?
Yes,
this year in 2022, right?
There are.
Okay,
I mean, dude, you got the fucking.
Let me ask you don't have to do it. Let me ask a question to Zach now. Okay, so Zach,
break from all
FTR,
bloodbath.
FTR is clearly the tag team of the year
for the Beavers.
All of us are going to vote for them number one, right? There's nothing that could happen right now, right?
Nothing.
Do you give number 2 to the Usos, Aussie Open, or wait, who was I just talking about? The Briscoes. The Briscoes. So if the Briscoes and FTR, what are they going to do on Saturday? Are they going to give you anything? Are they going to give you anything less than the 4.75 match?
Definitely not.
Probably not. Like a 4 would be as low as they can go because they're geniuses.
Shit, 4 is just walking in the door at this point.
I know, because they're fucking geniuses.
If you're going to ask me whether it's the Briscoes or the Usos for number 2 as tag team of the year, I'm going to tell you the Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock of the Truth, and I'll just tell you that
I'm like,
he's really leading.
I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I can't tell them apart.
I can tell Mark and Jay apart. Okay, come on, guys. How's the black guy? How's the black guy able to tell all of the brothers apart? Come on, guys.
He really had me going there.
You motherfuckers!
He really had me going there. That was really good.
It almost if you just said something, he might have jumped off this.
Put that on TikTok.
No, I'll say it.
Anyway, I'm glad the Acclaimed went over. I was rooting for them. I'm a convert. I tell you guys when I'm wrong. I tell you guys when I was not right. I was wrong about the Acclaimed.
You being wrong.
He went to scissoring conversion therapy.
I mean, maybe
that week off.
Maybe they're just terrible heels.
Turned them around.
It's possible they're terrible heels and just incredible baby faces.
That could easily be happening. And there's guys that can do. There's not every person can do heel and face.
You know who's over?
Well.
You know who was over? Was Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and they're more over than they were.
Oh yeah, without question.
No, but the intro, Enzo Amore Big Cass intro.
Oh, yeah, everybody sung it. Everybody's telling you.
And people like saying
okay, so that's why I'm saying for you.
And you can't teach that.
Okay. You're going to.
It was a cool phrase.
Okay, so you're going to tell me
it's a
that.
Cool catchphrase.
So you're going to tell me now that the Usos, the bloodline, when everybody just stops, that's not as big as even bigger than what we've already talked about.
It's just. I guess it's just your preference. Like, do you like the wrestling of it all, or do you like the pro wrestling of it all? You know what I mean? Like, do you like?
I'm a Naito guy. I like the pro wrestling of it all.
Right. So you'd say the Usos, but if you're just a match junkie, which there are match junkies,
to me,
you would definitely take the Briscoes as number 2.
Look, I haven't seen a lot of the Briscoes matches.
Or
to me, it's easy.
I mean,
it's FTR
or the
1,
Lucha Brothers.
Usos 2,
Fuck.
and then from that point you can
or
go.
The Hart. I mean, or
I would go
or
Aussie
Young
Open.
Bucks.
I would almost go Aussie Open 3 because I've seen more of their matches, but the Briscoe matches have been better matches. From that point, you can figure it out. From that point, like I said, I'll save till I keel over from 2022. FTR 1. Usos 2. From that point, figure it out.
I feel like we've.
You know what I do when I see an FTR Briscoes match?
We have.
I see an FTR Briscoes match, and the first thing I do, I dip my finger in it, and I'll rub some of it on my gums. Because I am a junkie.
Is this real? Yeah, this is good. That's the real shit. All right, we good.
Zach is on
Pay that man
fire,
his money.
dude. All right, that's gonna do it for our 2 count. We gotta keep it moving, guys.
You got cash, right?
Yeah.
Pay that man, nigga. Let's go.
All right, so I got a hot take for you guys, and
Jesus.
I think I told you guys that I was going to watch as much World Tag League, like I was going to watch every match. Turns out that's impossible.
Can't do it. I was getting ready to say I'm having a hard time doing it.
But I watched.
You got to drive to work now.
I watched the last 2. I know, that's true. I mean, it's exactly right. And I can't take my iPad into the shitter because I'll pass by Cheryl, and Cheryl will be like, oh, there goes Bill with his iPad as he walks into the bathroom. It's
That's
like
what he's getting ready to do.
He's getting ready to take a dump.
Hope that guy doesn't jerk off.
Right. But
Said again. That's great.
But I thought I could watch all of World Tag League.
Can't do it.
But I did watch the last 2 nights. So today I watched 15 matches, 10 World Tag League matches, and 5 Super Junior tag matches. And I'm going to tell you this. Aussie Open is no doubt winning the World Tag League. I think we all knew that. But what's really cool is House of Torture only has 2 points.
Amen.
That's good shit.
No,
you think it's Aussie Open for sure?
They're up 14.
I know they have the best record right now.
They have 14, and there's 2 teams with 10. I mean, it's basically done.
No, I mean, Sonata and Naito are still alive, right?
Yeah, they're
mathematically
they're
probably
Aussie Opens. They're Aussie Opens
next opponent.
Only loss.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did.
Naito and Sonata, Naito destinoed them into oblivion. It was fucking awesome, actually.
Blew Kevin Kelly's O-ring.
Oh man, Kevin Kelly is. Oh, and Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale had to drop out because death
in the family for Chase.
Yeah.
You know, praise up to Chase, all that other good shit.
I'll tell you who I like is Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd.
You said that last week, and I don't have a problem with that. I think ultimately, looking long term, I think both guys can be individually successful. If you want to keep them as a tag team, that's fine, just for the tag team purposes. They've had a lot of really good matches. A lot of guys have been putting them over. Obviously, they haven't, scored a ton of points.
Yeah, it's over. Right?
For them, yes. I was going to say Aussie Open scoring 14 points is what I was kind of tripping off of. Now
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying Aussie Open, they're not going to lose. It's Aussie Open. It's going to be Aussie Open versus FTR.
I have them at 12 points. You got them at 14. Neither here nor there.
I'm on Wikipedia.
Okay, well, then shit. I'll go with
it's 14 because there's a bye because they have Yeah.
Chase and
Oh, right. That
Yeah,
probably
that's
makes
why
sense.
it's 14.
so then from that point,
This is Killer Pod.
no, it's,
Just hey, it's a 12. No, I think it's a 10.
I'm just going from what I see.
We'll
It's 12
keep
points.
we'll keep it moving. I'm just saying,
Right.
it's almost over. Aussie Open is going to win. In terms of the Super J Cup, I'm going to take.
There's 4 teams tied at the top.
You know who I like a lot is El Lindemann.
Okay, wait a minute. You just picked Yo and Leo Rush last week.
Also, do you know what TMDK means?
The mighty don't kneel.
That's good.
Right. I like them too. They on
That
the
is a
Super
cool fucking name, man.
on the Super Junior side, I will have to give a lot of props to Yo and Leo Rush. They've been the team that.
Oh, I just watched them get killed, though.
Of course you did. Them and
kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style. Them and El Lindemann, Alex Zane. I think that they're the 2 teams I didn't think
I
they
think
would
Ace
step up.
Austin and Chris Bay are going to win.
That's the team I hope is going to win. I don't
right.
think they're going to win.
All right. Zach, any thoughts about this?
I have not watched a single match.
That's
In
going
classic,
That's going to do for our 3 count.
in classic 2-beer fashion, I'm boycotting all of this shit.
Man from Ringside.
Your boy don't give a fuck
All right. So we got
about
some
Super J-
some
or it's not
predictions.
Super J Cup, but
I'm going to start off with the hardest one because I don't want to think about this ever again. Okay.
Okay.
So in the Iron Survivor match on NXT,
You giving us options at this point?
yeah, you got to go
Idiot.
5-1. You got to go 5-1. Are you ready? You got Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and Indy Hartwell. I'll go first, okay?
Follow the leader, boys and
I'll
girls.
take Kiana James least, Cora Jade second least, Indy Hartwell third, Roxy, and Zoe Stark. Okay, who you got, Jason?
The champion is still Mandy Rose, correct?
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Big time.
So we're going to go with. Say the names again.
Kiana James, Cora Jade.
Kiana James 5.
Okay.
Let's go with Indy Hartwell at 4.
Okay.
Let's go with
Keep it moving, dude.
No, stop. Cora Jade 3. Let's go Zoe Stark 2. I'm gonna go Roxanne Perez
Love it.
at number 1. That's the new number 1 contender. There you go. Boom.
Who you guys at?
Least to most, Kiana James, Cora Jade, Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez.
Okay.
See,
I like
under
it.
pressure, we can do it.
All right. So for the men's Iron Survivor match, we have
Damn. Never mind. I got a little excited. I apologize.
my dog Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, and Axiom. I'll go first here.
Good.
Again, just because I can see it.
Good.
And I'll let you guys get. I'm going to go Joe Gacy last. Fuck him. I'm going to go
Yeah, they said,
Axiom.
fuck him.
I'm going to go Axiom second to last.
Okay.
Fuck, man. Any one of these 3 guys can win it, though. Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, or JD McDonough, I could see all 3 of them winning it.
Winner gets Braun Breaker. Or the winner of Braun Breaker and
And
Apollo Crews.
It could go a lot of different ways here, man. Like a lot of different ways. I'm going to go. I'm taking Carmelo Hayes to win it. And I'll put Grayson Waller second, and I'll put JD McDonough third. So I have Joe Gacy least, Axiom, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes least to first.
All right, I'll just keep it in the spirit of going next. I'll take Axiom, who I've never heard of, is least likely to make it.
He's a kid.
It's a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I like it. Oh, I like A-Kid. I remember him in the NXT UK. Just, he was 20 at the time.
Yeah, they tried to give him this math gimmick.
Just make
He's
him
still
A-Kid.
phenomenal.
Yeah, just
like,
make him
it
A-Kid.
doesn't.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's not an ugly motherfucker.
You should watch the match this year from him and Regal's kid.
Did he tap?
It's like 9 minutes long, but it's really fucking
Regal's
good.
kid tapped him out, right?
Yes.
Okay, that was the Regal stretch.
Really
okay,
good.
Yeah, I did.
And it was A-Kid's last match, and then he came back as Axiom.
Okay, Axiom 5th, Joe Gacy 4th. I'll agree with you with Grayson Waller as 3rd. I'm going to flip
I didn't have
it.
Grayson Waller as 3rd.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm going Grayson Waller as 3rd. I'm going to flip it
Carmelo Hayes.
and go Carmelo Hayes at 2. I'm going to go JD McDonough at number 1. JD McDonough is going to be the number 1 contender.
Yeah, I could have gone that way too. Zach, what do you think?
I actually had it mapped out exactly like Bill.
So Gacy
Very
last,
very
Axiom,
compelling.
JDM,
Yeah.
Grayson Waller, and Carmelo Hayes. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll move on to Pretty Deadly versus the New Day for the NXT tag belts. New Day
You explain this one.
invaded NXT. I think they just want to have some fun. Like, I can't explain it. I don't know why New Day shows up there except to just add a little juice to the pay-per-view.
To get people to watch the show.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah. It's like they love the New Day.
Okay.
This is going to be super fun. This is probably going to be the match of the night.
What?
Dude, there is no
Pretty
doubt.
Deadly is great, and the New Day
Pretty
is
Deadly
so
is
good.
great, and New Day are going to be motivated because they're going to be in a tinier place. They're going to want to, like, rip the roof off the place, man. It's going to be a fun match. I'll go first just because I know I'm the only one. These guys never come down and win. Pretty Deadly goes over. We are living in... Dolph Ziggler was NXT champion, though, in the year 2022.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, you forgot about your boy Dolph Ziggler. You getting ready to... you were campaigning about for a hot minute as the NXT champion.
Or campaign?
Campaigning about for a hot minute coming down from NXT or whatever the case may be. This ain't the same thing. New Day does not need to be NXT champions unless you just really wanted to have them have the ultimate fucking plaque when they go in as the HOF or WWE tag teams. Okay, they've done it all, and now you've got them as the NXT champions. That makes absolutely no fucking sense.
I still have no idea who he's picking.
It's Pretty Deadly.
Okay.
Duh. I was nodding with you.
I was like trying to follow along. I was like,
I was nodding when you were saying it.
I'm just chewing cud.
It's like trying to follow the pattern of a shirt at Dean Flashes.
Hey man, fuck you.
I'm talking about me.
I'm just fucking with you.
All right.
I'm thinking Pretty Deadly too.
Fuck you.
Okay.
You're
All right.
cool.
All right. We have Alba Fire versus Isla Dawn. Or is it Isla Dawn?
I don't give a rat's ass.
I'm taking Alba Fire. Go. Come on. Let's not spend any time on this.
I'm taking the chick that Isla Dawn. Yeah, I'm taking that chick. I don't even like her, and I know she's gonna win this shit.
Zach, who you got?
I'm gonna go Alba Fire.
Okay. All right. So Braun Breaker versus Apollo Crews. This has been a very interesting build to this match. Have you seen any of it? It's like all cinematic. Like
no, that's why I said you better talk to this one. We talked about it last week.
They respect each other. Like they talk to each other like they're friends.
Last week was the diner episode or whatever.
And this week they were fishing.
Okay, see, I'm glad I missed that shit.
Zach, have you seen any of this? It's been a pretty interesting build about like two guys that just super respect each other, but they're also going to fight for the championship.
I did not see this week. I read about the fishing. I did like. I saw Braun Breaker on TV a couple weeks ago, and he was cutting a promo, and he said, "Whether it's you or it's like JD McDonough, he's like, whether it's you or Apollo Crews, he's like, there you go, Apollo. I said your name on TV. I hope you're happy." Like, just killed me.
Ouch! Damn.
Dude,
Yeah.
I gotta admit, man, when Ricky Starks like looked at MJF, and like MJF is like proudly Jewish, and he's like, your nose, and MJF like made it look like, what the fuck? And he goes, is darker than the rest of your body. And it's like, oh, he's calling him a ass kisser. But like right when he goes, your nose, it's like, oh, dude, don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's about to go full Kanye.
This ain't baby face shit. Don't do this. Don't do this. Come on, Ricky. Come back to us.
Never go full Kanye.
Kyrie Irving's music plays.
Right? Uh-oh. Kyrie's coming. It's Kyrie Irving. Oh, my God. It's Kyrie Irving. Oh, my God. My God, it's Kyrie Irving.
All right, so I'll go first here. I'm going to go, like, I am so fucking torn here. Like, I can't, like, both these guys should be in the Royal Rumble. They should both be on the main roster. Like, they're both incredible. You know, I've lost too many times betting against Braun Breaker. I'm going Braun Breaker until he loses. Jason, who you got?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I mean,
I know, and I'm just going to stick to my script.
He's really good too.
Because JD Madonna is the guy that I picked that's going to win the Iron Survivor match. I'm going to take the upset here. I'm taking Apollo Crews. I wouldn't even be surprised if he flipped heel to win the title to make this shit happen. Apollo Crews has been there a little too long for him not to win the title. At some time, Braun Breaker's got to come up. It's a good time to do it. Royal Rumble's around the corner. Make it happen, Captain.
Zach?
I'm going Braun Breaker for the same reason. It's just like he's been winning. He's going to keep winning until somebody's ready to take that spot. And Apollo Crews is great. I mean, I don't even know why he's down there really, except to elevate guys. And to elevate him, you put him over. So he's putting him over.
Okay, here's my quick question. Who's better, Apollo Crews or Dolph Ziggler? Shut up. You shut up. Zach, this is the question to you. You shut up. The better in-ring talent, Dolph Ziggler or Apollo Crews?
All around, I'd probably go Apollo Crews. Dolph Ziggler is great, but I think his biggest strength is selling. But Apollo Crews, a.k.a. Uhaa Nation, has that, like, Dragon Gate, like, crispness, like, to him. It's like Pac. He's just, everything he does is so crisp. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I thank you for your candor on that one. The defense arrest, Your Honor.
Are you going to ask me my opinion?
Nobody gets a rat's ass. No, please, go ahead. I think I would know.
I mean, I'd like to see Dolph Ziggler fight Apollo Crews. That sounds super fun to me.
No, we're not going to see that. You get one or the other.
No, I know. You're asking who's better, right?
Who's better?
Ziggler.
Okay. Then Apollo Crews needs to win the title on fucking Saturday.
No, I'm saying right now, Dolph Ziggler is better. Apollo Crews can be great, but I gotta see him in some big matches. Hey, nobody's been a bigger Apollo Crews proponent on this show than this guy.
We all have. If Dolph Ziggler is going to win the NXT,
more than everybody.
If Dolph Ziggler is going to win the NXT title, then Apollo Crews should win the NXT title too. And this is a good time to do it.
I'd be completely fine with it. I'm just taking Braun Breaker.
Okay. And I'm taking Apollo Crews.
So that's going to be the end of our show. We got some birthdays coming up. Just kidding. Ring of Honor Final Battle coming up on Saturday also. We have... Okay, let's go. Let's start here. We got Mercedes Martinez versus Athena. Zach, you can go first.
I don't know, this is interesting because it's like Mercedes Martinez's first match back after a long time of being injured. So I'm like, did she lose her first match back? And I'm kind of leaning yes, unfortunately. So I think they give this to Athena. Yeah.
So who are you taking?
Athena.
Jason.
Two Beer said everything that I think I wasn't going to say and already said it. I was already leaning to Athena. And I love Mercedes Martinez. I'm thinking, God damn it, I'm taking Athena. Shit! Oh, I really want Mercedes Martinez to win. She deserves a run, but wrong time, wrong place.
Wouldn't be surprised if they gave Mercedes Martinez the win here. So just to go, mix it up a little bit, guys.
He's going against the grain, baby.
I'm going Mercedes Martinez. We also have maybe the worst tag team name of all time. Swerve in Our Glory.
Warjo was in my thought process, but that's okay.
Swerve in Our Glory is worse because they thought it was cool when they did it. They
did make them the tag team champs.
They thought it was cool.
That's fair.
But anyway, they're fighting the Shane Taylor Productions. Who you got, Jason?
I'm taking STP, and I'm going to go this far. I wouldn't be surprised if Swerve turns on Keith Lee, so you have Shane Taylor Productions and Swerve jumping Keith Lee at the end when it's all said and done.
Zach, who you got?
Fuck both you motherfuckers.
I was leaning a certain way, and then he said that, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to be swayed. I'm going to still pick Swerve in Our Glory, which is still the worst tag team name.
No, it's not.
All right, so
what's worse?
There's nothing else worse.
What did I just get finished? What did I just say?
I mean, Swerve in Our Glory is the worst.
Shit.
Shane Taylor Productions is way better than Swerve in Our Glory.
No, it's not. No.
You know what the best tag name of all time was? Right to Censor.
I knew you were going to say that.
I should have known. I'm like,
they were
what is it,
They were
boss?
pro censorship.
I'm like, what is it?
There's nothing funnier than
it's been
being
285
a wrestler
episodes
who's pro censorship.
Right? It's been
Dude,
285
that faction,
episodes, and I don't know that joke yet. That's just
that faction is straight out of Infinite Jest. Like,
dude, it is
100%.
It's so funny. They were so good. Anyway, you guys talk for a minute about. Let's see here. Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta. Go ahead, Jason.
Pure championship on the line. Daniel Garcia, obviously the champion. This has very little to do with Blackpool Combat Club, but I think it has a lot to do with Blackpool Combat Club in the big picture. I'm going to go ahead and as much as I like Will Yuta, I'm going to take Daniel Garcia. I think this is going to be a JAS kind of a night, if you want to go with that route, and it kind of starts with Daniel Garcia. It's not a knock against Will Yuta. I think he's going to be ultimately fine, especially if you can get ROH their own deal. There is going to be some news coming out of Final Battle with Tony Khan coming out and talking about the future of ROH and all that other good stuff. But for the here and now, I see no reason in the world to take the pure title off Daniel Garcia. He just got it. I think it's going to be, like I said, a JAS kind of night. I'm going to take Daniel Garcia. Two Beer, all you.
So, yeah, I'm wondering if, the big news, we're going to get some kind of idea about television or streaming. And just for Bill's sake, I really hope that Brodus Clay comes out and power bombs Chris Jericho, and we get to see the follow-up on YouTube. But really, I think of this match specifically.
Why we gotta bring up NWA, man? We already talked about it. We already said that, MJF, you ran down the NWA. You ain't gonna bring it up a second time, especially the champ. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like Brodus Clay had this fucking victory lap.
You take a lap around Chris Jericho's dead body.
The fuck did I miss?
Right?
I didn't feel like I was gone for very long.
The best fantasy booking of your life.
All right.
Anyway, I'm going to lean Daniel Garcia. We've seen this match a bunch, at least twice, right? I'm
We
going
got-
Daniel Garcia.
we
Who'd you
both
say-
have
who'd
Daniel
you take,
Garcia.
Jason?
We both have Daniel Garcia.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm taking Daniel Garcia also. I just think Wheeler Yuta is just a total fucking dork.
Oh my God.
Just such a dork.
He's the little
He's
brother,
gonna come
man.
find you.
Damn.
I don't think. There's a lot of guys that I'd rather see in his position than Wheeler Yuta.
Name one.
Name
one.
I'm coming out of the closet right now. I don't like Wheeler Yuta.
Name one. Name one guy.
Daniel Garcia.
Name
Dante
one.
Martin.
Okay, fair. I was about to say.
Leo Rush. I like
Leo Rush is in fucking
I
Japan, but that's fine.
know. I'm just talking about guys that are better than him.
You're just naming wrestlers
Right.
that are better than Wheeler Yuta.
Right. Just throw it. Just,
I mean,
you know,
I
Who would you rather see in this
see
match?
what happens to he shuts the fuck up.
All of them. I don't know why. I don't know why Wheeler Yuta got chosen by Blackpool Combat Club.
Wheeler Yuta is legit. There is no no. If this is gonna be Blackpool Combat Club, there's gonna be all kinds of different guys that could do a bunch of different shit. And Wheeler Yuta is going to be.
It's like 3 Schwarzeneggers and a DeVito.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What?
That is,
Wow!
Like twins. I'm saying DeVito.
Even
I'm saying
Danny
Wheeler Yuta
DeVito had a
is DeVito
purpose
to all
in
the
that
other
movie.
3 Schwarzeneggers.
I know what you meant, motherfucker. Okay, Stevie Wonder can see what you meant. Okay.
so I'm guessing you're picking Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, I'm taking Daniel Garcia, motherfucker. I think Wheeler
Yeah,
Yuta
he's like-
sucks.
After all that, he's like, I'm going to pick Wheeler Yuta.
Right. That would be a total Bill move.
Not doing that. Okay, we got Dalton Castle and the boys versus, I guess they're calling themselves the Embassy, which is Gates of Agony.
Calling them the Embassy?
All right, let me know, hipster. It's Gates of Agony and Brian Cage versus Dalton Castle and the boys, right?
Yeah. They've been calling themselves the Embassy for the record, just FYI. But that's another story for another time. I'm going to take...
I missed it.
Newsflash, motherfucker. I'm going to take the Embassy to win the ROH World 6-Man Tag Team Championships. I love Dalton Castle. I love the boys. It's just time. It's long since time. None of these guys, Dalton Castle or the boys, are on contract.
I'm doing the same. I'm taking the Embassy also. Zach, who you got?
Yeah, I feel like it's the Embassy just because it's just something different. You got to get a title change on there. I don't know, multiple title changes, even so, to make this to where you're like, oh, you got to buy these ROH pay-per-views. So I think this is one.
I'm telling you what, guys, we're starting to agree so much that I think it's going to be like
I don't think it's going to last much longer.
The 7th or 8th season of like Growing Pains or Family Ties, where they're like, oh, they have a new kid, or oh, they adopt a kid, or oh, Leonardo DiCaprio comes in. Like we're gonna have to bring in somebody into the podcast to mix it up a little bit because we agree too much. Because we all went Jesus Christ.
Maybe it's just predictable.
A little bit.
I know, but
a little bit.
I don't know. All three of
I'm
us.
I'm sorry. Who's the guy that says predictable isn't always bad?
It's not bad. No.
Okay.
It just means I love you guys. But I'm saying all 3 of us having the same Bray Wyatt take is kind of strange because we
never really talk about it until we talk about it.
And
right
we're
now.
also in the minority because of it.
True story.
All right, we got
I have not spoken about any of this stuff with you guys
at all, and we all agree upon that. That's
really because I was barely on last week. Like it's been weeks.
Yeah, I mean it's really
no. It's I'm just trying to let this shit play out before I shit on it.
So we have Samoa Joe versus Juice Robinson for only the ROH TV title. Who you got, Jason?
I love the fact that they're separating the championships and not making it one. In that scenario, I'm going to still take Samoa Joe. Juice is good. I like Juice. Great U.S. champion. Just wrong place, wrong time. Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs on deck. Samoa Joe wins.
Has a chance to be a crazy good match.
Yeah.
Both
guys can go.
I think it'll be really good. I'm rock hard for this match. And I am going with Juice Robinson.
What? What'd
Take
you just
that,
say?
Bill.
Really?
I'm going Juice Robinson
Okay, now
for
you
sure.
already said it. Right down.
Oh, he said for sure. You know what?
Yep.
In another dimension, you might call that your Stone Cold lead pipe lock of the week.
I am familiar with that phrase, but I'm going to hold off on that one.
Oh,
Because I said for
so
sure,
you're not so
but
sure.
I'm not Stone Cold lead piping it.
Oh, holy shit. Okay, so we got 2 matches left. And you know what? We'll go with FTR versus the Briscoes in a double dog collar match for the ROH titles, and only the ROH titles, I'm pretty sure. Zach, go ahead.
This one I'm a little iffy on because FTR has beat them both times this year. And I feel like it's bonkers if they beat them again, despite the matches. I think maybe with the announcement of ROH, like some kind of television or some kind of show, and with the fact that the Briscoes can't show up on the other thing, and the fact that they did not beat the Acclaimed, we're just not going to get them holding all of these titles like we thought that we might. It's just the stars are not going to align. And I'm actually going to take the Briscoes.
I'll go next. I am also taking the Briscoes. And the reason I'm taking the Briscoes is because, just like Zach said, they have all these belts. You can really only lose them one at a time. You can't put them all up at all times like they won them on different matches. You have to lose one at a time. I think it would be cool if they lost 2 of their belts and just held on to one of those belts for like 2 years. Like, keep the NJPW or keep the AAA. They still have the AAA, right?
Yes.
Yep. And it also,
but you have to drop them. You have to drop them eventually. They're going to have to start losing matches. They can't win.
And they're gonna lose Tony Khan's belts before they lose any other ones because he's not gonna let his champions lose. Just like Kenny lost the Impact title before he lost the AEW one.
Right. So, Zach and I both have the Briscoes. Jason? Oh,
I'll go like
Jimmy
this.
and Jay Briscoe.
Cool it with the ASMR.
No, it's just me thinking. I'll go with the fact we're doing it the third time. I don't think we need it. I think we've, at least for me, this is tag team match of the year. Pick the one or the other. This is just going to be an absolute bloodbath. God damn. I'm going to take FTR. Fuck it. We're going to just keep this fucking...
Until they prove you
otherwise, yeah. Until you prove me otherwise, I really, especially if you're going to have a TV deal on deck, there's certain guys that you want to have up front, and the Briscoes.
Listen, I love that pick.
The Briscoes, I love the Briscoes. I love FTR.
If I wouldn't have taken Briscoe Brothers, I would have taken FTR.
If you're going to have a big TV deal, you want to have names that you can have up front that you can market. FTR is a marketable name. I'm taking FTR.
For the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship belt, we have Chris Jericho versus Claudio.
Did I say you ain't going to try it? Castiglione? Did I say it? Castiglione?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Apparently, by Zach laughing,
right.
I fucked it up
Jason
twice.
hasn't gone first
No,
yet.
I'm laughing at Bill still.
Jason, who do you take?
I already gave it away with my previous take, so I'm going to obviously take Chris Jericho, so that would mean that Claudio goes over to JAS. If, once again, you're going to have a ROH streaming service or a weekly show, I love Claudio, but Jericho is the marketable name. We've done it before. We're going to do it again. I'm taking Chris Jericho.
Zach, go ahead.
I think this was a very long, like Tony Khan's a very rich man, right? So like, it seems the reason that, you know, he can kind of get whatever he wants.
Oh,
except he has like, he has,
Sir.
he has this,
let's not go to bed
like-
yet, Grandpa. Tell me the last part.
you have to, when you're that rich, you have to find ways to entertain yourself. And I think maybe he just has like some kind of like fetish for like very, very tall, muscular men in purple bucket hats. And so I think this is just his way of getting Claudio into a purple bucket hat. It's very expensive booking, but it's definitely Chris Jericho winning, and Claudio's wearing that hat.
Okay, I'm taking Claudio.
How you gonna wrap my boy up like this, dude?
I'm taking Claudio.
You talking too much, Jason. I mean, Zach, wrap this shit up.
I'm taking Claudio just because sometimes, just because I feel wrong about stuff a lot of times, and I feel like this is gonna be one of those things where I'm like, I should have seen that coming. Like, I don't think Jericho wants to be Ring of Honor champion. I think he's just doing a solid for Tony Khan, and he needs to take a vacation, and they're going to put it on Claudio. I'm taking Claudio.
Look at you. That's my boy, okay? That's what I'm talking about. FTR ain't winning. Claudio ain't winning. We going down with the ship.
I'm an AEW sexual.
God bless you.
Thank you very much for those predictions.
Limping down the stretch.
Let's do that again. Hold on. Let's delete this part, guys.
Okay.
God, I hate everybody that listens to us. Every single one of them is just a fucking idiot. It's just, I can't believe it.
Got a hot mic.
Hey,
Hot mic.
Cut this part out.
Hot mic.
Man from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, we got some birthdays this week.
This nigga ain't shit.
Slick is 65.
He's black.
Michael Cole is 54.
Definitely alive.
Enzo Amore is 36.
See him all every week on.
At a Sabaro's near you.
You said Sabaros.
Kurt Angle,
Oh.
my dog, my just absolute dog.
HOF. How
Oh my
Baron
God.
Corbin
Just-
retires him, I still don't understand, but that's okay.
The only other person in their prime as funny as Kurt Angle was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just absolutely hilarious.
Who do you think is funnier?
The exact reason that you watch wrestling. It's
Who
just
do
I just want to laugh.
Okay, who do you think was funnier?
I'll tell you what. For like 3 weeks in 2009, Jack Swagger was the funniest guy on the planet. He just absolutely ruled, dude. He was so funny. He completely lost it. All right, so
He's pretty funny right now.
all right. JTG is 38. I ask you this every single year, Jason.
I know.
What does JTG stand for?
Just too good?
Just too good. That's
Yes.
right. 38.
Yes.
R.I.P. Shad Gaspard. Rey Mysterio is 48. James Ellsworth. You remember him?
Oh, of course. I was there when
He's HOF.
Carmelo
dude.
won the
He's HOF.
the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and James Ellsworth helped her out. This is a beautiful time.
You remember when they had the first Money in the Bank women's, and they had a man get it?
It made it memorable. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great for the pod.
Speaking of men and women, Sonny Kiss is 29.
Stop.
Sabu is 58. Junkyard Dog
R.I.P.
and Black is 70. This says Michael Elgin is only 36. Does that seem right?
Yeah, he's like my age.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Are you doing all that stupid shit? Okay, never mind. No, stop. Stop.
Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Murray the Murray Man Murray, for Patriot Pat, for Vice Bogeysman, for
Sit
Tender
right here.
Mahal, for 2 beers, Zach Pullman.
Go with him first, check.
For Jason Cornelius Bell,
DGY bitches.
I am Bill Vagey.
Yes.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local
Hurry up,
restaurants.
getting ready to
Tip
be
your
legal.
bartenders.
Check.
What else? Did I forget something?
Boo the heels, bitches.
Boo the heels.
Boo, bitch.
Oh, hold on a second. Bye, Zach.